Women are powerful creators. The Align Women podcast features female entrepreneurs, leaders, and other professional women who've demonstrated agency and innovation in their personal and professional lives. I'm your host, Amy Evans. I have authentic, intimate conversations with my guests that highlight their paths to success, their struggles and accomplishments, and the things that currently excite, motivate, and inspire them to turn their visions into reality. Welcome to episode 8 of the Align Women podcast. I'm Amy Evans, your host and the founder of Align Women, which is a leadership and networking organization for professional women. This podcast features female entrepreneurs, leaders, and other professional women who've demonstrated agency and innovation in their personal and professional lives. And with me today is Henriette Danel. She's a strategic business coach, and she helps service-based business owners attract more clients so that they can monetize their time and grow their business. Henriette and I connected through the Align Women Facebook group, and I'm really excited that she is my first international guest. She's South African, and she's based in London. I'm excited to have you here. Welcome, Henriette.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's a lovely opportunity to be here. And like I said, I'm thrilled to be your first international guest. Yay!
It's so much fun. So let's jump into the questions. You're a strategic business coach for service-based business owners, and you work not exclusively with women, but you focus on women. When a business owner decides to work with you, what pain points are they looking to resolve?
Well, firstly, I think when female entrepreneurs come to me, one of the major pain points that they're going through, either through a phase or through something in particular, is that they're struggling in order to get clients. And there's so many aspects around that. I mean, the majority part of it starts with the mindset. But it's not just the fact that they're struggling to get clients, because if they can't get the clients, it's obviously the fact that they can't grow their business. So that's one of the main focuses that I basically zone in on when I work with my clients in order to find out maybe where that stumbling block really is, where their mindset is, but then obviously helping them with strategic planning in order to set out a whole bunch of plans so they can obviously focus and start getting the clients that they need.
And do you find that stumbling block tends to be more about mindset or more about strategy?
I think there's three entities which we'll talk about in a little bit, but I think the majority of the time it's more about the mindset, because it depends on where you're coming from. If you're coming from a corporate world and you're now being an entrepreneur, yes, there's a huge shift that needs to happen with your mindset. If you're already an entrepreneur and you're now struggling to get clients, maybe that's a different mindset as well as to where your habits lie and things that you've constantly been doing. And maybe you've been even spreading yourself too thin, trying to do everything to get clients. So it's all about the individual as to where their stumbling blocks are, and then obviously finding the right strategy to fit in that's aligned with them so they can use that over and over again in order to make sure they get the clients they need.
And one of the things I imagine that you bring to the clients that you work with is an outside perspective, so that you can look at all the pieces that are in play and help identify the ones that are not as effective and the ones that would be more effective. And I know, being an entrepreneur, and also my partner is an entrepreneur, that sometimes we get bombarded with so many great ideas, and we want to try all of them because we think all of them have potential, and spreading ourselves too thin can be ineffective. And sometimes I just have to stop myself and say, okay, pick one. Just pick one and put all your energy into it. Pick the one that looks like it's going to be the most successful, and put all my energy into it in order to give it the power that it deserves, as opposed to trying so many things that I really don't give anything the attention it deserves. Do you see that with your clients?
Absolutely. And I've seen it with more of my clients than just with a little bit or a bunch here and there. It is basically, I think we call it the shiny object syndrome. If a new strategy comes alight and everybody's talking about it, or if a new online platform comes alight and people are talking about it, we kind of just get so attracted by that new shiny object that we want to go and try it out. And it is all about your plan, your strategy, what you're working on. And if it's working for you, you've got to keep on doing it over and over again and not get distracted by all the other shiny objects out there. And it's one of the hardest things for us as human beings, because we like change, we like new things, and we like to, you know, how can I say, because we are so focused on being curious the whole time. So if something new pops up, we're curious. We want to try it out. We want to see if it's working. So yes, it is something that happens all over the scope, but it's, again, most of the times it's when people don't have a strategy or a plan in place that's working for them over and over again that they get distracted and they try all the other things.
Sure. So in addition to perspective, you are able to provide your clients with focus.
Yes.
And I can imagine that that's useful. And then let's talk about the three components that you focus on when you're working with entrepreneurs. And you and I've talked about this, and you mentioned mindset, and you mentioned strategy, and then you mentioned probably the most important one, which is action. Because if you have great mindset and you have great strategy, but you're not doing anything with it, you're not going to get far.
Yes.
So we talked about some of the struggles that you see entrepreneurs having. Tell me how the mindset, strategy, action format allows you to get an entrepreneur really into a successful business model.
Mostly when entrepreneurs approach me, we look at the three elements, which we said is the mindset, the strategy, and the action. Now, in most cases, well, basically they come to me and they've either got the right mindset, but they don't have the strategy or the action plan. Or they come to me and they're ready to take action, but they don't have the strategy nor the mindset. So one of those elements can't work on its own. You need to have all three of the elements aligned with you in order to see success for you happening. So when we talk about the mindset, obviously there's one of the biggest things that people talk about a lot there, which is the mindset of an entrepreneur, but also the money mindset, which I know is one of the topics you absolutely love talking about. So once you've got that mindset right and you know about your habits, how you can obtain new habits, how you can start setting yourself up for success, then obviously I move on to the next point, which is your strategy. Now, under the strategy, there are 4 different categories that you need to think about. Most people just think about the word strategy, again, as maybe this kind of secret or this how-to quick guide of, you know, how to do things and how can I quickly become successful. But if you look at strategy itself, it's really just kind of like a platform for you to build on. So see it as almost a platform or a foundation for a house. That is what a strategy really is. But then you can decide what you want to build on that foundation. Do you want a big house? Do you want a small house? Do you want to use timber? Do you want to use bricks? So that is really what a strategy is. Then if you break a strategy into kind of 4 components, you need to first look at a strategy for visibility. What is the strategy that you're going to use in order to get visibility, either online or in your business, in your hometown? And then also you need to look at attraction. What do you have, or what are you going to do in order to make sure that you attract your ideal clients? Have a strategy in place for that. Then you look at your relationship part. How are you going to build a relationship with your ideal clients so you can obviously convert them into your buying clients? And then the last element would really just be then the transformation. You need to have a strategy as well for that, because once you have clients from a point and you move them through the stage to where they want to be, well, that's classified as a transformation. And if they've experienced that with you for what you do and who you are, well, they are bound to come back to you, and you have reoccurring clients coming back over and over again. So I think if we break it down into those kind of 4 topics, it makes it a lot more easier to kind of zone in on what strategy works for you. But at the same time, I want to say is don't go and try all of the strategies. Just choose one strategy for visibility, one for attraction, one for relationship, and one for transformation.
I love that you break that down, because I can see how someone might think that they're doing all the things they need to be doing, and they don't realize that they're missing a key component. And your process, which really to me seems like diagnostics when you first start working with a client, would be able to identify that really quickly. So someone might say, I've got a beautiful logo and a beautiful website and really fancy business cards, but nobody's coming. And if you're not visible, I mean, you have millions of websites, billions of websites out there probably, but if you're not doing anything to get people's eyeballs on it, then you're missing out on the visibility piece. And I love that you break that down into those components so that you can really hone in on the pieces that are working and then the pieces that need more attention.
Exactly. And it just makes it so much easier as well, is when you look at them individually in a different format. And it just makes so much sense when you go, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. Now I know I don't have to go and do all of the social media because, yes, everybody else is doing it, but why are they doing it? So once you go and think about all the strategies available and you break them down, it makes a lot more sense. But then equally, once you've got the strategies in place, it is the action that is required afterwards that is the most important part. And that's sometimes where people lack. They don't really feel comfortable or don't have the confidence to take that that next step and taking the action and doing or, following through with each of these strategies in order to get the success that they need at the end of the day.
And that's how it turns into a circular model that you start with mindset and then work on strategy and then get to action. And if somebody's got maybe limiting beliefs around the value of what they have to offer, which I see happen a lot in the female entrepreneurs in my circle, then it's back to mindset to help unravel those limiting beliefs so that they can go into the other pieces of the process.
Exactly.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, but then as well as once you've gone through that process, all you got to do is just review it again, rinse and repeat, really, and then just go through the whole process over and over again, rather than thinking, oh my gosh, this didn't work. I need to go and do something else. I need to go and find something else to do that everybody says is working. So yes, it's all about just repeating the process over and over again, and you will make success. It is just up to you in order to get that into position and working with it.
And you not only work with clients to identify the areas that may need more attention, but you also work with them side by side along the way so that while they're going through the implementation process, they have you as a resource, as a guide, as a coach, and probably as a cheerleader to help them through each of these steps, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I guess it's one of those things where I just love getting my hands dirty with all the nitty gritty stuff. When it comes to the technical aspects, I am a little bit of a geek when it comes to all the techie stuff. I love helping people with that. So if my clients come to me and say, oh my gosh, I don't understand what's happening here. Why is my website not working? Blah, blah, blah. It's one of those things. I love looking at the numbers and digging deep to find out what's not working and then coming up with solutions. And that's one of my strengths. So I guess that's part of the reason why I love just really getting in there and finding out what solutions are available for any problem that exists for my clients.
So you are a multifaceted and multi-talented person, and it makes sense that you're doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. I love it.
Tell me about the Entrepreneurial Success Giveaway. I loved hearing about this, and I want you to share it with everybody.
Oh my gosh, I can't smile bigger than I am smiling right now. I'm so excited about this. This is a new project or an event really that I'm working on. And I'm getting between 40 and 50 female entrepreneurs together from all over the world. And we're all collaborating and getting together to do a giveaway. So I'm calling it the Entrepreneurial Success Giveaway. Everybody is coming together and giving away their free content or whatever freebie, guide, audio, webinar, whatever they have available, they're giving away for free. And we're going to have one big event happening on the 24th of February. And yes, it's just going to be absolutely amazing. It's all about collaborating between us as female entrepreneurs and helping each other out. Because at the end of the day, it's, when people talk about competition, always looking at the competition and be better or do things different than your competition. I just find that, if we rather think more about collaborating rather than competition, it just makes so much more sense. So yes, I'm really excited. I've got some great women already on board, and I've got some huge influencers as well that's going to collaborate with me. And I'm so looking forward because I just can feel it in my bones. It's going to be a huge success.
It sounds exciting. I can't wait to see it. What platform are you using in order to make these resources available?
Oh gosh, I'm keeping it very simple. I'm not getting very overcomplicated with the techie stuff. So I'm using ClickFunnels as my base. So ClickFunnels will be the funnel that I'll be using, or the system that I'll be using for the funnels in order to get the audience to come into the event. And then all the other female entrepreneurs are just, providing me with all of the details for their freebies. And everybody will then just go and tell their audience about the giveaway. The audience can come for free and just log in and just get whatever they need. I know some of the audience would go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And they're going to go and download everything there. Or some of them would come in and be very selective and only take what they need. But it's there available for anybody. The only difference is it's only going to be available for 5 days. So we want to make sure that everybody comes in, get what they need. And then hopefully from there, we can help any of the other audience or the female entrepreneurs that need some more advice thereafter.
Wonderful. And we'll be sure to include information about that event in the show notes. And give me the date again.
So we are launching on the 24th of February.
Okay. Wonderful. And we will certainly promote that in the Aligned Women Facebook group to my community.
Thank you.
So, sure. So let's get personal for a minute. I love to do that. And you mentioned money mindset, and that is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. One that I think women don't talk about enough, especially women entrepreneurs who, as far as I know, are in business to make money. And I don't think we talk about money enough. And I think a lot of us come with a lot of limiting beliefs from our families, from our socialization. And so I'm doing my part, and you're doing your part to try and break through some of those limiting beliefs. Tell me about your personal struggles with money mindset when you left the corporate world and became an entrepreneur. What was that like for you?
Gosh, and that was one of the biggest learning curves, I think, in my life. And it's still a journey that I'm on. I mean, it's not something that you just flip a switch and you're from point A to point B. It is definitely a journey that you're on. But it is one of the best journeys, I have to say, that I had to go through in order to have this kind of essence of self-discovery. When I left the corporate world, obviously, the number one thing that gets cut off is your salary. So having that kind of safety net of knowing that there's something coming in every single month just wasn't there anymore. So I started, getting out, selling my online products, reaching out to people to offer my services, and nothing was happening. And 1 month after another month started going by, and I heard other people were making the success. They started already with their businesses. They were getting clients, but I was still struggling. So I realized I needed to dig a little bit deeper and find out what it is that I'm doing wrong. Because obviously I'm following the strategies. Here we go, going for the shiny objects. I was doing what they were saying to do, but I still wasn't making money. So that started going from a point of desperation almost, really, which is the worst place to be when you're trying to have a business. At that point, then I just realized that I had to kind of think about my mindset. Did so much research, got a coach to help me as well about the money mindset, talk to me about these things. And when I started going through this whole journey about my money mindset, I just realized, oh my gosh, I was sabotaging myself all along. And I think it's one of the things that we always kind of feel, but why would I do that to myself? Why would I sabotage myself? It's got to be something external that is, withholding all of my clients to come to me.
Right.
And yes. And once I realized that it is something that is happening subconsciously, it's something that you don't control because of your habits, because of the way you think, you talk to yourself on a daily basis, it just made so much sense. That's where I started backtracking a little bit, thinking more about my affirmations, goal planning. And then the biggest thing that I started doing was obviously meditation, which really helped me immensely. And it's something that I'm still doing religiously every single morning. And it has changed the way I think about money, not just about money, but all over the concept of, attracting what I want rather than pushing it away, so to speak. So that is still a journey I'm on. I don't think it's a journey that you will ever complete as a business owner, because there's always evolving things. So yes, I'm very proud to say that I learned the hard way, but I've started this journey and it has shown me the difference it can make. So I'm super thrilled that it had to happen at the right time, and I'm, going for it.
I love that meditation is a key component to your practice, because meditation and mindfulness are they've been game changers for me in so many ways, and certainly focusing on attraction. A lot of what you said really, really resonates for me. Also, something I hear quite often, you mentioned going through a process of comparison, looking at other people who were doing similar things or taking the same courses or implementing the same strategies and feeling like they were having success and you weren't. And I think that's a very common thing that entrepreneurs go through. And it's very, very hard to stay aware that everybody's on their own journey, that you can't see the story behind what they're doing, that they may look much more successful than they actually are, that they may have started 5 years before you did, that we're all on different paths, and that comparing to other people can be really, really destructive. And one of the things that you do as a coach, obviously, is keep someone in their own world, focusing on their own business and their own strategies and what works for them, as opposed to getting paralyzed comparing themselves to other people.
Exactly. And it's something that I did as well as part of my sabotaging stage, really, is I was comparing myself constantly to other entrepreneurs, up until a point where I was like, I had to stop doing that. And thank goodness I have stopped doing that. I've stopped comparing myself, because I know my journey is different than all of theirs. But when I look at what they're doing, I'm going with the mindset now as to what are they doing that I haven't quite figured out yet. So I'd rather go and study them and go and look at what they're doing differently, kind of getting little golden nuggets from them, rather than just sitting there and comparing myself and thinking, oh my gosh, how would I ever get to that point, and things like that. So I kind of switched the question around in a positive way as to what they are doing, and can I copy that, or can I, basically learn from them.
For sure. And that goes back to your point about cooperation versus competition. And I think that's so healthy and so much more productive. And yes, that old nugget, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I always want to be around people that are more successful than me, that are doing it better than me, that I can learn from, for sure.
Absolutely.
So I want to wrap up talking about a freebie that you have. And I wonder if this is what will be available from you in the Entrepreneurial Success Giveaway. You've got 30 ideas on how to get more customers. And you talked early on in our conversation about getting more customers being a key component, obviously, of running a business. I want to know what your favorite of those 30 ideas is. And a follow-up question to that, and these two may be the same thing. What's one idea that you feel like most people you work with don't consider but should?
Oh gosh, I think I'm going to state a little bit of the obvious here, but definitely the one idea that I absolutely love about all of the 30 ones mentioned there on the giveaway or on the freebie is collaboration. And I know we spoke about that, and I mentioned it during about the giveaway. But in particular, I think when we kind of change again our mindset, collaborate with other entrepreneurs, work together in order to make sure it's a win-win situation where everybody can walk out at the end of the day going, this was great, this was amazing, let's do it again. That's one of the things of what you can do, not just in order to make sure that you get clients or customers, but also you can kind of get to know and build relationships with other people who's in your industry. And that good old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It is time and time again, that's absolutely the one thing that I find is the biggest way for you to obviously start working towards getting more clients for your business. Now, it can work in any industry and in any field. And I think that kind of is the one as well that most people don't think about, because people's mindsets tend to be different, where they think more about the competition. I don't want to work with the competition, stay away from the competition. But I think when you start thinking about it differently, you are definitely going to be on a track and doing something that other people are not thinking about, which is going to make you stand out from the crowd.
I love that. And that is definitely in the Align Women spirit, the idea of collaboration.
Exactly.
So where can people find you? Website, social media, email. We'll post all of these in the show notes, but where can people find you if they want to reach you?
Yes, so fairly easy. My website, just henriettedanel.com. And then I've got literally on the top of the website, everybody who wants to grab the 30 resources and to get clients or customers, it's there available. So just one quick, easy link, fill in your name, your details, and you'll get it. No problem at all.
Wonderful. So thank you so much for joining me on the Align Women podcast today, Henriette. It's been delightful to have you. Look for more episodes of the Align Women podcast with more amazing women at alignwomenpodcast.com. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Align Women podcast. You can find more episodes with more amazing women at alignwomenpodcast.com and visit alignwomen.org to learn more about our leadership and networking organization. This is Amy Evans, and you've been listening to the Align Women podcast.